My life is my life, and I try to look back, and I was born in a family that never had a lot of money. We were never terribly poor. My father dropped out of high school, came from Poland when he had no money. My mother graduated high school, never went to college. We lived in a small apartment in Brooklyn. My mother's dream was to own her own home, never happened. My father worked every day of his life, worked hard. He was a paint salesman, never made a whole lot of money. And my brother and I were lucky enough, they were very proud that my brother and I were able to go to college.
Good evening. My name is Bernard Sanders. The purpose of this program is twofold. First and primarily, we are going to examine an aspect of Vermont life that is not often seen on television, either commercial or public. We are going to be looking at poverty in Vermont. We'll be talking to several members of the Abnaki Tribal Council who live in Franklin County, and they'll be telling us about the living conditions there. We'll meet residents of the Franklin Square low-income housing project in Burlington, and some women from central Vermont who are valiantly trying to maintain their human dignity while living on welfare.
Bernie Sanders ha llegado con una propuesta clara. Bernie Sanders ha llegado con una propuesta clara y viene a sacar la cara por todo el estudiantado. Él quiere un pueblo educado, un pueblo sobresaliente. Bernie Sanders es la fuente para un nuevo amanecer. Y para hacer
wants to make
lo que hay
super
que
profits
hacer,
off of Puerto Rico at the same time as they want to see the minimum wage go down.
It is not acceptable that over 50% of the children in Puerto Rico today are living in poverty.
Stand up and make sure that the United States, Puerto Rico, the entire world is a world in which all people have a decent standard of living, not just the people on
No
top.
había visto un candidato que con su oratoria diaria, yo no había visto un candidato que con su oratoria diaria a la clase millonaria demostrara liderato. Hacía falta hace rato un político incumbente que pensara en nuestra gente, que aliciente al oprimido. Por eso estoy convencido, debe ser el presidente. Por eso estoy convencido.
We live in a world today where there are several 100 million people starving to death. They're starving to death right now.
I've got a problem with a president and a Congress which allows 5 million children to go hungry, 2 million people to sleep out on the streets, cities to become breeding grounds for drugs and violence. And they say, we're getting tough on crime. If you want to get tough on crime, let's deal with the causes of crime. Let's demand that every man, woman, and child in this country have a decent opportunity and a decent standard of living.
It is also a tragic day for the future of our planet and for the children, 30,000 of whom in the third world will starve to death today while we spend billions to wage this war. I fear that someday we will regret that decision.
Es la conciencia su norma, tiene verticalidad. Es la conciencia su norma y tiene una plataforma vestida de integridad. Él piensa en la sociedad y por ella va de frente. Es un líder diferente, firme en las adversidades. Por todas sus cualidades debe ser el presidente. Por todas sus cualidades debe ser el presidente.
Call attention to the American people of what's going on in the Caño Martin Peña, and it's amazing that right next to the financial district in San Juan, we have people living in this very dire condition. They're united. They're a model of community organizing in Puerto Rico and internationally.
We have 50 schools, 50 public schools around the island with the same story of Juan Domingo, resisting the closing down of their school, taking control of the school, and the community deciding to leave their school open and have a Montessori model for their children.
The U.S. government owns Puerto Rico a lot, and they have used many of our natural resources, and that is a debt that have not been paid by the United States of America.
Porque en su revolución yo aplaudo sus desempeños, porque en su revolución predica la solución para los puertorriqueños. Sanders no nos ve pequeños y lucha muy convincente por devolverle al ambiente una vida más completa. Para salvar el planeta debe ser el presidente. Para salvar el planeta debe ser el presidente.
But it is not going to be Bernie Sanders or any other member of Congress that's going to bring about the change that we need. That what we need in this country is a mass movement of tens of millions of people who are prepared to stand up and say, we want national health care, we want the millionaires and the multinational corporations who have not been paying their fair share of taxes to start paying, that we want money going into education and environmental protection, and we will not succeed unless all of us, workers and farmers and women, peace activists, environmentalists, independent people who want to reclaim this nation, for all of us, begin to stand up, might go down in history as being the leading state in the fight for a political
revolution. When we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Thank you all very much.